Nope, that doesn't mean you come up for syncing audio. Joe, what do you think about the deadline?
The deadline, well, I don't know. It's always kind of crazy for it.
Yeah,
Go
very
away.
crazy.
We love you, but we don't.
Yeah.
Now go away. Go take a nap. Right.
You better keep that as the intro.
Oh, man. That's been way too long. I don't think
Yeah.
we've had this set up.
In a while.
So a lot's happened.
Yeah, a lot also hasn't happened.
Yeah, you wanted to know what my thoughts were going to be at the trade deadline because you gave your little predictions.
Yeah, which never happened because two of the guys I predicted trading for the Mets never actually moved.
Yeah, I don't want to say I was disappointed, but I was disappointed.
I kind of was too. I mean, we had the blockbuster of Zach Greinke
But that was like kind of it. Everybody else was just sort of like some minor leaguers here or there, or some catchers. It wasn't anything too prominent.
And worse off that teams like the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Red Sox, Cardinals, all teams that are in the playoff hunts, held or even sold.
Yeah, one thing I was talking about with my dad was that maybe Cashman knows Severino's going to come back sooner than later, and they're hoping on that, and Betances might be back, so that'll help the bullpen with some relief after being overused a lot, because their starters this last couple weeks have been giving up, I think before Paxton's game, it was 8 straight games of 6 or more runs?
Yeah, Paxton was the first quality start in a while.
Yeah, so...
To be fair on Cashman, he was trying to pry away Robbie Ray from the Diamondbacks, but he balked at the price of prospects.
Yeah.
That he wanted to give Frazier and one top prospect, and the Diamondbacks wanted 2 or 3 other prospects with him, which is a little bit of an overpay.
Was that you? Is that me?
That was me.
That was you. Oh, you're causing trouble.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Pardon the interruption. It's brought to you by Smirnoff.
Yeah.
No, there is no sponsors here.
But yeah, it's been quiet. Not too much. I mean, granted, a lot of teams were in weird places. We had the Giants suddenly went on an amazing tear.
Yes,
and put themselves right back in the playoff hunt. The Mets bizarrely declared themselves as still in the hunt. Even
I was sort of head scratching that they had acquired Marcus Stroman, who was not very happy about going to the New York Mets. He wanted the Yankees. He said so, Didi Gregorius cryptic tweet-esque sort of things, he was not happy. I was like, why would the Mets get him if they might trade Syndergaard? And I was like, are they going to try and flip him? Which almost happened.
Yeah.
But in the world of sports, almost doesn't really mean anything.
No.
So I think the Mets asked for everything, and the Yankees said no.
Yeah.
Which didn't really surprise me.
Yeah.
I think they wanted Florial and Frazier, and I think some other third person. I was like, that's kind of bad.
Yeah. But to be fair, that they weren't necessarily in a position that they had to deal. The team is rough, but it could still theoretically contend next year.
I mean, what's crazy about the National League right now is if you flip back, 3-4 years ago when that Central had 101 wins, 99 and 98 wins, whatever it was.
Yeah.
With the Cardinals, Pirates, and Cubs, and everyone was all up in flames. Oh, no, why do these teams have to settle for the wild card spot when they're the 3 best recorded majors? Right now that division is sitting as the worst division overall, where more or less all those teams are basically still contending for the division title now. Now, how much you want to say really is sort of up for grabs, but I've been watching the standings all year, and all of a sudden I blinked earlier this week, and I was like, oh, the Cardinals are in first place now. Because they'd been hovering around third place while the other guys were fighting it out, and now it's sort of oh, this is going to be an interesting race to see who's going to finish where there.
Yeah, you have the Cardinals, you have the Brewers, you have the Cubs. The Reds and Pirates are kind of out of it, but even the Reds, they managed to get a pitching answer for next year getting Trevor Bauer, which is another one of those head-scratcher deals. Yeah. It made sense for the Indians getting 2 outfielders that they sorely need, but at the expense of taking out of their major league pitching staff.
Yeah, that didn't really seem right considering what they're. I think as of this recording, they're a game and a half ahead as the first wild card team,
and that's without Corey Kluber, Danny Salazar.
Yeah, so I'm
Carlos
not sure why they would. I don't know if they were sick of his antics because he is a decent pitcher. I wouldn't say he's the number one ace. You have to have him.
He's a great number two.
He's a great number two. Definitely solid number three.
But there have been rumblings that Terry Francona and company have kind of put up with what Bauer is, and considering the price of taking from a farm system that had to be depleted to save the major league roster, they probably had said, well, it's a good enough time as any, and the Reds need pitching.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons why I didn't want the Yankees to pick him up, was because I didn't think he was going to be able to handle that limelight as well. Like, you saw it a little bit with Frazier with his like flowing long hair, and it's sort of like being a Yankee number one market in the world, more or less.
Yeah.
And that sort of like gave him a big wake up slap that he had to sort of like figure out like he's got to behave a little bit better and do a little bit more things, but he's young enough that he can sort of try and change that. Bauer's, I think, already like too far down.
Yeah,
I think
Bauer,
for his last contract, he wanted it to be like 420-69 for like all the numbers on his contract.
Yeah.
And they were not going to have that.
Yeah, he's also the type that says he wants to go year to year for the rest of his career, banking on himself. But it does have the nice juxtaposition of his last act for the Indians was throwing a ball into center field, traded for a guy whose last act was participating in a brawl.
That he wasn't even a part of.
Yeah, that he technically wasn't even a member of the team.
So that was sort of like a head scratcher a little bit, that the Indians got rid of one crazy guy for another.
Yeah, but I guess the question I have now is, now that all dust is settled, we know where players are. The Astros have a three-headed monster in their rotation. What do you think is the landscape going into the postseason? Because I kind of think that the Astros are now very much the team to beat, not just with that rotation, but they have that still great lineup. They got Yordan Alvarez just hitting the cover off the ball, along with their planted stars. So the Yankees, I don't think, with their non-moves, they're easily going to win the division just by the sake of the Rays and Red Sox did nothing.
Yeah.
And they'll have a good shot against the Central, but I don't think any AL team has a shot over the Astros.
Well, my thoughts are that we need to end this because I think we're almost out of stuff here.
That's actually a good idea.
So I'll give you my 2 cents next week, so stay tuned. We'll stay here and record.
Yep.